Hello there, finance friends. Welcome back. In this next module that we're going to cover, we're going to be looking at something really important. One of those real fundamental ideas in personal finance that seems simple on the surface and that if you do it well, makes everything else easy. But if you do it poorly or fail to do it, basically sabotages any future hopes you have. Okay? We're discussing in this next module the idea of cash flow. And to be real specific, I want to be real clear with the terminology. I want to say that we're going to be discussing managing cash flow. Or if you wanted to be even more specific and even tighter and even more deliberate, we could even say that what we're going to be talking about is controlling your cash flow. Okay, so this next series of videos and this next module that we're going to cover is all about you taking control of your cash. Okay, right now in this first video, I want to just kind of lay out a little bit of a top level picture. So, first things first, when we talk about managing cash flow, what are we actually talking about? Well, think about this. We said earlier in our time together that we have these four buckets, these four categories of activity in personal finance. We said that we have to earn money, so we have to earn our money. We have to control and use our money wisely and prudently. We have to grow our money, and we have to protect it. So these were our big four buckets: earn it, use it well, manage and control it, invest it to grow it, and protect it with insurance. When we talk about managing cash flow or controlling cash flow, we're right here. Okay, we're going to be taking a look at the income that we make, the money coming in, and we're going to also look at the money going out, what we spend. And it's going to be really, really important. Okay, so now we know what it is. Maybe we ask a top level question. Well, why is it so important? And we're going to turn, as we always do, to our idea of systems thinking. So it's really important to bear in mind that all of the things that you're going to do to make yourself successful. We had said in earlier videos that one of our goals is to grow our net worth. And this implied either acquiring assets or decreasing liabilities. The only two ways to increase our net worth were to acquire assets or to reduce liabilities. These things are only possible if you generate a cash surplus. You know, growing assets, acquiring assets, investing, getting rid of liabilities, paying down debt. These things are only possible, we said before, if you're running net cash flow positive. In other words, we said you're running net cash flow positive, which implies that more money is coming in than is going out. You're earning more than you're spending. You're living below your means. You're putting a nice balance between the needs of current you and the needs of future you. Okay? This is a critical idea. If you're not running net cash flow positive, nothing else can happen in finance. You'll have no money to pay down debt, no money to acquire assets. So the entire wealth building system kind of just grinds to a stop unless you've got money coming in and you've got money left over after you spend. That's what we mean when we talk about managing cash flow. When we talk about managing money, managing cash, controlling your cash flow, we're taking a look at the money coming in, the money going out, balancing current you with future you. In other words, balancing consumption today with investing in the future. Okay, that's what we're talking about. So we have to be really important. It's really important that we understand why we're doing this. We have to manage cash flow today to both be, happy and live a good life today, but to also look ahead. Okay. So this is a really important thing. You can see that when we cover cash flow, we're going to be necessarily talking about money coming in, that's income, and money going out, which would be outflow or spending. So, cash management is all about thinking critically about money coming in and money going out. Okay? The decisions that we're going to make. What are some of those decisions? Cash flow management, you could take it, as we often do in this class, from a deep kind of a philosophical view, a behavioral view, which is very important. But at the end of the day, it's also pretty practical. You have to make some decisions. So, what are some of the decisions that you're going to make? Well, you're going to have to decide what to spend on. You're going to have to decide if you're going to save. If you do save and you generate excess cash, you're going to have to make a decision, where should that cash go? Are you going to keep your cash in like a regular big bank savings account where you make damn near nothing? Are you going to leave all of your cash in a checking account where it earns no interest? Are you going to try to find a maybe a high yield savings account where you can maybe get 3.5%, 4% interest? So you have to make decisions on what to spend on and if you're going to save. And if you do save, you're going to have to make some decisions on where you're going to hold that cash. So we say, where's your cash going to go? In other words, what kind of account will you have to hold your cash? You're going to have to make decisions on now versus the future. Are you going to live for today and sacrifice future you, or find a balance? You're going to want to make some decisions on how you're going to handle your bills. So, just some real basic bill pay questions. How are you going to handle your day-to-day living expenses? Not just in terms of deciding what you're going to buy, but having enough cash to pay for it and to not be short. Okay? So, these are some big decisions you're going to have to make. I would also offer to you that at the end of the day, there's some goals that you're going to want to have. Every cash flow system has to have some goals. Every system has to have goals. So, what are some of the goals? Well, obviously, one of the big goals is to live below your means. You're going to want to live below your means. You're going to want to have a situation where more money is coming in than is going out. Okay? Another goal, you're going to want to develop a simple bill pay system. You're just going to want to develop a simple system to make sure you cover all your bills, and not just your bills, but to cover your daily spending. You're probably doing this already without even thinking about it. And a lot of this lecture is going to be doing things that you already do, but just kind of putting some formal theory behind it and giving you some decisions to think about. So you're going to want to have the goal of just, handling your bill pay effectively, not missing any payments, not running credit card balances, things like that. Another goal would be to maximize the interest that you earn on your cash. Actually, we'll be real precise. Maximize the interest that you earn on we'll call it your surplus cash, right? Your surplus cash. If you're living below your means, if you are living day to day, week to week, month to month, net cash positive, bringing more money in than you spend out, you're going to start to build up some extra cash. This surplus of cash will be what you use to achieve your goals. But until you deploy that surplus cash, we have to have a bucket to hold it in, an account to hold it in. Usually savings accounts or certificates of deposits called CDs. So those things, you need a place to hold your cash so that you can maximize interest on it. Okay? And then also, you're going to have a goal of measurement. We're talking about systems, as we always do. And a big part of systems is you thinking, what is this system designed to do? What are the goals of this system? And developing a simple measurement tool to help you ask, is it doing it or not? Remember, these measurement tools are never about making yourself feel guilty, making yourself feel stupid, making yourself feel bad. It's not that at all. It's just a tool to say, hey, I've got some goals. Am I achieving those goals? I've got a system I've designed. Is the system working as designed? So we're going to learn some basic measurement tools. And with those simple tools and with this thing that I call the weekly audit, so one of the little measurement tools will be a simple, maybe 10-minute exercise that you can do every Sunday called the weekly audit. We'll figure out, are we doing what we want to do? Okay? The last thing I want to do in this little intro opening is let's just once again revert back to our systems lens. Why is this important? Well, at the end of the day, we know from basic systems thinking, we have in and out. We have stocks and flows. So we know that we're going to have money coming into the system. This is going to lead to a stock, probably your checking or your savings account balance, and you're going to have money coming out. So you're going to earn money coming in and then send money out. Okay? If those two numbers are equal, if your flows in and your flows out are equal, your stock variable doesn't grow. So to put it in real terms, let's say that you have, for example, this bucket right here. And this bucket we can just call your savings account. We'll just make it simple. This is your savings account. You're going to have money coming in, income from your job or from other sources. This money is going to enter the bucket, raising the level of liquid, raising the level of cash, raising your stock variable up. Great. But you have to live. You have to have expenses. So you're also going to have money coming out. And that's going to be money out. This money in is your income. This money out are your expenses. The difference, as we know, between money in and money out, this is our net cash flow. So money in minus money out equals net cash flow. If your net cash flow is positive, this water level rises because you have more money coming in the bucket than leaving the bucket. Pretty nifty. If your outflows are bigger, if more money is leaving the bucket than is coming in, you're going to see down the line your water level fall. Your net worth will fall. So this is sort of the lens that we're talking about. Inflows and outflows increase your stock or decrease your stock variable. Well, why is that important? Well, because ultimately the money in your savings account, that's the money that you deploy to satisfy your goals, to invest for your future. That's the money that you have to basically enjoy your life. This is about enjoying life, about thriving, about making the best of our limited time on this beautiful planet. So at the end of the day, net cash flow is an essential ingredient, and controlling your cash is an essential ingredient to helping you build up your savings so that you can then deploy it toward investing, long-term goals, immediate short-term goals, things that make your life beautiful. Okay? So that's what we're going to be talking about in the upcoming videos. In our next video, we're going to look briefly at income, at sources of income, and at how your income is regrettably taxed. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you, my friends, in the next video.